Hello everyone, so this is Edson Viveiros, and today we're gonna be talking about a very good question that I received yesterday, which was how to be lean while applying for an ISO certification. How to get ISO certification in a lean way. How to eliminate wastes on this process and avoid to overdo to over process the things and to create a monster that is unmanageable at the end. So I will be sharing here some tips and some ideas of how you can get your ISO certification in a lean way. And please, if you have any other suggestions, leave in the comments. Let's learn together. I'm not here to teach. I'm just here to share what we already did, what we've been applying to make the process linear. And even in a situation where you have to comply with all regulations to get all your certifications and so on. So let's see how you can do that. So this is ISO certification in a lean way. So this picture, this diagram you see on your screen right now, you can find this on the ISO 9001. So the whole document you can simplify, you can summarize by this picture here. So at the end of the day, all you have to comply is this cycle. And what cycle I'm talking about? PDCA. So it is, if you think on that way, we can simplify the way of thinking about ISO certification. All you have to do is the PDCA. Basically, you have to plan what your organization gonna do. Then you have to do what you've been planning, exactly where you planned it on your work instructions, in your procedures, in your scheduling. You have to execute what you said you were going to do. Then you have to check if your process is working properly, if the execution is going as you have planned it. And then you have to act based on your check. So now you're going to continuously improve your process by this PDCA cycle, organizing your business. So again, summarizing, we're going to talk about PDCA, and we're going to see some ideas on each one of them. So first, on the plan phase, my first advice is do not overcomplicate. Why I'm saying that? Because we as a human being, we always try to make things complex. We always try to override the things to get a lot of process and constraints and roadblocks in between process A and B. We are always making things complex. So, strong advice to you: face the battle against the complexity daily to make the things simpler. This is what you have to do every day. Take something that is today is complex and make the thing simple, which doesn't mean it's easy to do that. It's actually hard to face the battle with the complexity, but you can make that easier. And then you create a standard, a procedure, you define the new way to do based on that simpler way. Second advice, flow charts. You can basically eliminate hundreds of pages on your document by using flow charts. You can explain the whole process, the whole business with simple flow charts. Why we don't use flow charts as we used to do, as we should use it? We try to make everything and explain it step by step, writing down in the document, page 1 and page 2, and you have to try to explain with words how to connect those steps, how to connect different processes, who is responsible here and there. So use a simple flow chart showing all the steps of the process. And you can, in your flow chart, you can easily show who is responsible per each process. You can show when it will be done, what will be done, by who. You can show everything on a simple flow chart. So if you cannot use only a flow chart, okay, but use 1 or 2 pages and then attach your flow chart. Instead, have 50 pages to explain one freaking process. Okay, so use flow chart. Then visual management. So, for example, if you are writing a procedure to lockout tagout, and now you have to describe a step by step of how to lockout tagout a machine, and you're gonna waste a lot of time and the pages on writing down exactly the information what you wanted to do if you don't have a good visual management. For example, first go to electrical cabinet behind the machine X, the blue one on top of the countertop. Just an example, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but if you don't have visual management, you're gonna have to explain too much with words. So how the visual management help you on that? If you have label everything, you can just go in your procedure and say, first step, turn off electrical cabinet X32. Done. Simple. It's just simple. But you gotta have a good visual management first. You gotta have to have the basis, the basic things, the fundamentals of the 4S or 5S or 3S. You gotta have the fundamentals of the organization. Then to have a lean process for your ISO certification and for your lean manufacturing management. Okay. Another thing, use pictures on SOPs. I got a question another day. A guy asked me, "Hey Edson, how can we avoid to overcomplicate while trying to write down procedures?" And I told him, use pictures. Take the pictures of the process and then just explain the description of the task beside of that picture, because the picture talks a lot and you can eliminate lots of waste on trying to describe the process if you don't have the picture. So take your time, go to the process and use pictures. Take pictures. If it's on your computer, use screenshots, but add images. Make the document with more life. Okay, so that's a very important thing. And another one, when you have all these documents, you can waste a lot of time on trying to organize all those documents in the shop areas, at the workstations. If you try to print all the documents, put in a folder, and put them on your workstation. So every time you have a new revision, you have to go to that place again and replace all those pages. So the problem here is that you are increasing the risks of errors. You can forget, or you can lose the track of that folder at that specific area, and you may have a procedure that is not up to date on the shop floor, and on the system it's up to date. So you have to avoid that. This is a huge waste of time, and I still see companies doing that, printing out documents and putting there in the shop. So all you have to do is to make a computer available for the employees in the shop floor, or wherever they work. But if you cannot have a computer at everywhere, okay, you can provide what I call as a kiosk. And on that kiosk, it's basically a computer connected on the internet that has access to the procedures on your public driver, on your server, in your QMS system, whatever. But people can go there and access the procedure. So it's gonna be always updated. You eliminate the risk and you eliminate a lot of wastes on that process. So this was all my advices for the plan phase. Now let's go to the next phase. Next phase on the PDCA cycle is do. So you have to collect evidences for everything you do by ISO, like how you guarantee that people are doing what is supposed to be done as per your plan. You have to have evidences, right? So my strong advice here is use digital forms, get tablets, and instead you have hard copies, a lot of checklists on a flipboards. Use a simple tablet with a digital form. So all your information is already digitalized. It's going to a database where you can access later whenever you want. And you don't need to now compile all those information and to organize all those papers, hard copy inside of folders, inside of a cabinet to retrieve them later. And it's just a lot of time consuming. You definitely have to avoid that, right? So use digital forms. One suggestion that I will give to you is to use a smart sheet. So smart sheet can help you a lot. It's very easy to create a digital form. Anyone can go ahead and create a digital form on using Smartsheet. When someone submits the information through a digital form, it goes directly to your database. You can access. You can create dashboards with that. You can do whatever you want, and you can keep those records for how many years you want. As per ISO, you can some requirements you need to keep the records for the last 7 years, and some others even for the last 10 years. So it's a lot. So use digital forms to keep the records. Okay. Now we go to the third phase, which is check. That's the third phase of the cycle PDCA. Okay, so you have to follow up the results of your process, and you have to be able to check as per ISO requirements. And first thing, you define the KPIs of your process and generate dashboards, but stop to use Excel and spreadsheets to compile charts in Excel. You definitely have to automate that. And for that, you can use either Smartsheet or you can use a Power BI as in this example here on the screen. So basically what those software does is they access your database. For example, the digital form you have, imagine you have a final inspection in a digital form that you do daily. All those informations go to a database automatically. All you have to do is to connect Power BI to that database and then do some configurations. You can learn. Maybe I will do some videos about that, so I can share some tips and advice on how to do that. Maybe I will do for Smartsheet as well. Uh, so the idea here is to automate the dashboard generation. So you eliminate a lot of waste on plotting and compile information to make charts. So you can automate that. And another thing, you can reduce the quantity of steering committees if you just integrate those dashboards on your daily routine meetings that you already have. Some people call it a morning meeting, some people call employee empowerment meeting, some people call it a gamble management meeting. So you already have those daily meetings. So just integrate those dashboards and make them available for the team so they can access, they can follow up the results, and they can take actions if needed. All right, so this is the suggestions on the check phase, and now we go to the last phase, which is to act. So when you plan and then you execute and then you check, you have to do a lot of things inside of ISO requirements. You have to keep a continuous improvement methodology in place, or a continuous improvement culture in place. Actually, corrective a kappa, which is a corrective action, corrective and so now we're gonna talk about act. After you plan and do and then check, you have to keep doing and managing the entire organization with those topics here. You have to keep a continuous improvement culture in place. And you have to keep the CAP, corrective and preventive actions. You have to keep track of them. Everything you do, every analysis you do, you have to come up with the root cause and create the corrective actions. And you need to keep track of them. So imagine the quantity of papers it can generate. You have to manage the compliance, control everything as per requirements, regulations, all those documents. You have to do it. Training records, analytic tools, document control, risk management tools, supplier evaluation, internal audits, external audits. So all of these you have to comply. So here goes the stronger recommendation that I will give to you. If you want to get ISO certification, and you have to get a QMS software. And I listed on the right side a bunch of QMS software you can use. I'm not gonna tell you which one I think is the best in this video. I'm thinking about to do a next video about this, to define what is my top 3 QMS system, but you have a list, a bunch of them. You can search, you can Google to see which one will be better for your organization, but you have to have a QMS software available. So every corrective action, your suppliers evaluation, preventive actions, maintenance, your document control, you can keep all those documents there available for the people. And the training records and everything, you just keep on the one software, make it available for the employees, and they can just access and they can work on that platform, and you eliminate a lot of wastes, right? A lot of paperwork, and therefore you're going to reduce a lot of risk of errors, because you can automate reminders, you can automate some workflows, and it's not a big deal. It's actually pretty easy. That is, most of those QMS software, they are very user friendly, easy to use, and they will help you, and you're gonna have your business all organized in your QMS software. So if you have any suggestions, if I forget something here, please leave in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and to share this video. I'm planning to do a set of videos about the smart sheet that will help a lot your organization on eliminating paperwork and optimizing your process, and also for Power BI. And we're gonna continue talking about the lean and continuous improvement industry 4.0 here. So I hope you like it. Please let me know if you have any question. Thanks for watching.